go through here, subject-verb agreement and pronouns. We're only going to do half of that because we're a little bit low on time. We'll just do the subject-verb agreement part of it. So basically the rule of the course is that subjects and verbs need to agree with each other in a sentence. So singular must go with singular, plural must go with plural. That's the basic idea of the rule. And there's a couple little things like just the general idea that whenever you have something with an and, you know, X and Y, that will become plural. So that's a kind of an easy one. This is one that you got to be very careful with, especially if you're exposed to UK English versus US English. The UK is a little bit more flexible about plural. American English is like amazingly, oh my gosh, American English is amazingly focused on singular. So any kind of word like army, team, company, a nation or a country, singular. So the army was, our team is, okay? You got to go with singular on any of these collective nouns. Organizations, bank, you know, an organization, a bank, a company, a fund. The United Nations is an organization. The United States is an organization. The Philippines is singular. All those are singular. This is not so much about subject-verb agreement, but just about sentence structure. So when you look at the sentence and you're trying to find the subject, make sure you focus in on the simple subject, which is like the one word that gives the meaning to the subject. So like the discovery of the spiral structure of DNA molecules, that is the subject of the sentence. But in terms of the grammatical structure, you just focus on the word discovery. All this other stuff like of the spiral structure, of DNA molecules, those are all modifiers. So things like of X, whatever, of Y, these are things you basically can ignore. They won't change whether the sentence is singular or plural. Just focus on the head of the phrase that gives you the actual meaning. Okay. This is sort of a backwards construction in English. There is and there are. So normally you have the subject first and then the verb. This sentence actually reverses it. So chairs would be the subject and are is the verb. There is not a subject, there is actually a type of a modifier. Okay. Okay, example number 3. So you have a minute and a half. It should seem like an eternity to you guys. All right. So have your answers ready. Good luck. Yeah. This is quite a hard one, actually. So a lot of people chose choice E here. E is not the best answer. It might be the second best answer, but it's not the correct answer. So you got to really analyze subject and verb just relentlessly. So what's going on here? The subject is organizers. The verb is issued. Okay? And then a press release, that's an object, actually, if you want to be technical about it. Then we have a comma here. Then we have a modifier declaring. That's actually pretty normal that you have a verb ing modifier coming after a comma. Then any kind of word of speech, a thought, or emotion must be followed by the word that. Okay? So speech, thought, or emotion, you must have that. So declaring is definitely a type of speech. All right. So then after that, you need to have another clause. All right. So this is the purpose of the word that, is to introduce another clause. And a clause by definition has a subject and a verb. So we have another subject, and this is the subject that we're going to be using for the blank, which is the word advocacy. Okay, so this is the subject, the new subject at this point in the sentence. The question for you guys is, what is the verb? What did the advocacy do, or what is it doing? The advocacy is not mandating. The ordinances are mandating. It's not what the advocacy is doing. Right. Yes. And this is I thought this was a very hard problem the first time I saw it, because I didn't quite make the link between advocacy and preventing. And so that's what the organizers are doing. The organizers are saying our advocacy has prevented this litter. They're taking credit for this. And so they want to use they want to say that their advocacy prevents it or something like that. But then we run into this problem. So what about advocacy? Is it singular or plural? Well, it's definitely singular, so it's a kind of an it, right? So we have prevent, we have is preventing, we have prevent again, then we have prevent, D says are preventing, and then E goes back to is. Okay, so are preventing is wrong, they prevent is wrong in A and C. So it's either B or E. Is preventing is the only possible thing from a singular and plural point of view. Okay, so now between B and E, now you get a much closer shave. So we have mandating and to mandate. Okay, and this one's really more about the emphasis. Okay, so if you think about what's going on here, they have ordinances which mandate fees on plastic containers. Okay, so what you want to think about is the fees that we're talking about. So are the fees like an action that we're taking on the way to a goal, or are the fees a goal, like the ultimate goal? Do you guys see what I'm asking? So here's the way I think about the difference between mandating and mandate. Normally when you have an ing, you're talking more about an action, right? When you have to, that means you're talking about a goal. So what about these fees? Are the fees an action that we're taking to try to solve a problem? Or are the fees the actual goal that we're trying to, the actual goal? Do you guys see the difference? So the way I would look at it is that the fees on the litter, the fees on plastic are just the action, and the actual goal is to prevent litter. So from a grammatical point, okay, so let's talk about from like critical reasoning. If you have an action and you have a goal, right? Clearly the action is the thing that we're doing. We're imposing a fee on plastic containers. The goal is the thing that we want to have happen, right? We want to prevent litter. From a grammatical point of view, normally the way that you talk about a goal is you use a to. When you want to talk about the action that you're doing, you use the ing. So this is a very small difference in the emphasis, but with choice E, it makes it sound like the fees themselves are the goal of the plan. That's not correct, right? They're not, that's too much emphasis. The fees are just the thing that we're doing as a way to accomplish the goal. Yeah, and B is the best answer. So who picked B? Somebody did. Most of you picked E, though. Okay. All right, let's move on. Number 4. Okay. All right, so it's time to vote. Okay, good. So B is the correct answer. And there's sort of two issues going on here. If you just kind of take them from left to right, the one issue is this word winning at the beginning. And you got to think carefully about what that means, because when you put a modifier at the beginning of the sentence, the rule is that it has to modify the subject, right? So who is winning the World Cup? Well, in A or B, it's the team. In C, it's the world. In D, it's touting, which sort of a noun, I guess. I don't know about that one. And then in E, it's they. So who won the World Cup? The team, the world, touting or they? Well, definitely it's the team. Then between A and B, we have this issue, which is whether team is singular or plural. And again, it's U.S. English. Absolutely, team is singular, so we have to eliminate plural, and B is the correct answer. The team was. Okay, so pretty nice. Notice in both these examples, this one and the one before, that you need to have two, on average you have to have two kind of decisions or two rules that you use, and that normally you go from 5 answers, down to 2, and then from 2 down to 1. So it might be one rule is about singular and plural, the other rule might be about something totally different like a modifier. That's actually quite normal.